During this time of economic uncertainty, many companies are rattled, worried, and some are even freezing hiring, as we've been reporting. But one business actually is hiring and is building what is said to be the biggest dairy plant in the country. That company is Chobani. This week, they announced a $1.2 billion investment to build what will likely be the largest dairy factory in the United States. And with us now to talk about it is its CEO and founder, Hamdi Ulukaya. Hamdi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Adriana.
So this is a time, we keep hearing it, uncertainty, uncertainty, uncertainty. The markets are up and down. Investors are rattled. I know your company is not public yet, but companies are battening down the hatches and waiting to see before making big moves, but not you.
Yeah.
Why make this expansion? Why take this risk at such an uncertain time?
Yeah, we look at the world. Of course, what's happening in the world, Adriana, is real, and it's affecting, it's concerning from one dimension to another. But from the Chobani's eye, I started 20 years ago in a small town upstate New York, and I've seen a lot, ups and downs and tough times. But there are timeless truths, is that people want good food. People want to feed themselves and their children food with the better ingredients. And that was the bet I made very, very long time ago. And we see, especially post-pandemic, this accelerated in a really, really dramatic way. So more and more people want simple food, high-density nutrition food. And that growth is really pushing us to make decisions like this to invest.
And Chobani's made in New York. Your hat says
yes.
New York made.
We made this hat for the event. Actually, we designed it.
Oh, for when you broke ground
yes,
on Tuesday?
On
they
Tuesday.
just broke ground on the factory.
Nice. I missed it. You had the shovel and the dirt and the
exactly.
whole thing.
My son was there. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Oh, he made that bracelet.
Yeah, for that.
You tell him, I don't think it's too shiny. I think it looks good.
They were saying on camera, guys.
Baba in Turkish, and I have it. And
what does it say in Turkish?
Baba means dad.
Dad? Yeah, lovely.
It's eye-catching as it should be for an eye-catching announcement. So when you say made in the USA, it's all made in the USA, the milk, all of it?
Absolutely. Yogurt, fresh food, of course, that's another reason to be made in USA. We have a plant in South Ed when we started, and then we built a really big plant in Idaho, and then we come back to home, to Rome, New York, which is only half an hour from where we started. Milk is local dairy farms. Fruit, most of the fruits are within the United States. We'd like to bring it more. There are some products that come from overseas, but the most important thing that we get from overseas is the equipment to build the factory.
So how are you being affected by these tariffs?
So that's going to be effective. You say $1.2 billion to build this plant, based on what kind of tax numbers or tariff numbers, it could be a lot bigger. And
because you would have to pay more, excuse me to jump in, but
exactly.
Just to see how this all connects. Tariffs on European equipment that you need would cost more to you because the tariffs would likely be passed on to you. Is that right?
Exactly. So these high-speed fillers, where you filled yogurt cups or the creamers, or those are coming from Europe, and there is not going to be short answer for those. So you're going to pay more. That's reality. The second one is labor. We're in upstate New York. There's a lot of projects that are happening. Buffalo Bills are building a big stadium. It requires a lot of people. And there's semiconductor companies building more production. So those are the two things that we worry about what's the tariff and can we find enough people to work?
Just staying on the tariffs for a moment, if you are going to pay more for the equipment that you need to make your yogurt, are you going to pass that along to the consumer? Will that be reflected in the price of your yogurt?
I have been very strongly opinionated. I even wrote an op-ed on this during the pandemic and post-pandemic. Is this short answer to the covering the cost with going to prices is not the right thing to do. Not good for business, not good for consumers. So I have been very strongly opinionated not to pass the prices to the consumer. So we've been really, really steady on this. I look for long term. If I can afford to build it, which seems like we can, internally, I look at this not something that I would pass on to the customers.
You have been outspoken in the past about efforts to hire immigrants and refugees. Every economist will say, big picture, long term, or even medium term, immigration is good for an economy. But some will say in the short term, it can affect wages for existing workers. How does that interaction work for you? And also, as this crackdown on immigration happens and there are fewer workers potentially, how do you think that will affect your ability to grow?
I had my first contractor meetings yesterday at my office here in Soho. And we had 2-3 companies to come and be selecting. The number one topic is people. Do we have people to work to build these construction, massive projects? And it's a reality. It really is a reality, and I hope Washington hears it and people hear it. The second one is the farms. You know, if you look at farms, the vast majority of farm workers are immigrants. It's the same thing in Idaho, it's here in upstate New York, in between. So between the farm workers and the workers for the construction, we need people. We need people who want to work, and those are refugees and immigrants. And of course, you know, you have to have the legal right to work, and those are the policymakers have to make those, make it available. But I can see one thing can hurt dramatically is if we can't find people, we cannot build these places and we cannot make this farm works. And that is going to affect the prices and inflation. So I hope that message goes on really, really clearly.
So without immigration, you can't find enough workers.
You can't.
Wow.
That's the reality.
Interesting.
And that's a concern for you because you have to hire 1,000 people to work at this plant and build it.
And you have to build it. And guess what? We will need almost 6 billion pounds of milk when we built this plant. That is the 1/3 of the milk that's available in New York. So that means the farmers need to increase their farms, and the small farmers need to come back. It's a massive economic impact. Or you need farm workers.
Thank you so much.
Hamdi Ulukaya, thank you very much
Thanks,
for being
Tony.
here. I really appreciate it.